Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you for joining me once again on a Magic the Gathering box opening. And, you know, it only seems right that after having the Outlaws of Thunder Junction being so successful, leading right into the Tarkir Dragonstorm being so successful there, that I kind of want to just bring it back again. That's right. I got a second box because, hey, I thought that it did so well that even if this box didn't do quite as well, I'd still break out even with any of the costs because of just that one card. And who knows, there could be something deep inside. Like it says, uncover a dragon's hoard of Tarkir treasures. There could be something absolutely amazing in here for us. Now, I'm not exactly expecting there to be anything fantastic in the second one because, hey, we already kind of got a lot of luck with the Outlaws and the Dragonstorm there. But I really just wanted to open up another one there just to get a few more of the cards, see what they do, and, just see what we could find there. I am planning to get some more Outlaws of Thunder Junction because, again, that one just did really well. So we'll see how things go, but, we're going to start up, hopefully getting a little bit of first pack luck there and seeing what we can grab. Now, we've already gotten the Ugin and the Elspeth, but I certainly wouldn't mind getting more or some of those alternate versions of them as well. That would be thrilling. So we're going to get a little bit of Warrior Goblin action there, just kind of like we did with the first pack and the other one. Get a little bit of Tranquil Cove there, the Game 1 Life White-Blue, Absent Devotee, probably the best Devotee that they had there with the mana fixing and then returning this from the graveyard to the hand, Rebellious Strike, a little Combat Trick, the good old cute Rescue Leopard, a little bit of Desperate Measures, 1 mana instant, target creature gets +1/-1 until end of turn. When it dies, under your control this turn, draw 2 cards. So it looks like this is just a like a Skull Clamp effect there. Mystic Monastery getting that new artwork there for the Jeskai. A little bit of Synchronized Charge, 1 and a blue for a sorcery. Distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures you control. Creatures you control with counters on them gain Vigilance and Trample until end of turn, and it's got Harmonize 4 and a green. Not too bad for the first one there. Definitely the Harmonize makes it a little bit more difficult, but, it's Teamer, so you're going to have that 4 kind of no problem. Getting that alternate art for that Roiling Dragonstorm. We'll definitely take that one there. Getting that foil version of that Corroding Dragonstorm. Getting more of those will be something that I will appreciate. Thank you very much. And then, starting off there with a non-foil version of the Forest Island. So we'll definitely... Island is so close to Island, I didn't even realize it there. But the Forest Dragon mana land, whatever you want to call it there. So already starting off with a little bit of a hit there and going right into Clarion Conqueror. That's a new one there. 2 and a white for a 3/3 dragon with flying and activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers can't be activated. Okay, shutting down a little bit of stuff there. I do know that this has some alternate forms there, so, we'll see what we're looking at there, but already starting with something new. I definitely like that. A little bit of Steward of the Harvest there from the sets, 3 and a green, 3/3. When it enters, exile up to 3 target lands from your graveyard. Creatures you control have all activated abilities of all lands exiled with this creature, which includes their mana abilities, so they can tap for mana, which is nice in of itself. And this one's a new one here, Roar of Endless Song, and with, so it looks like probably some extended art on this one here. 2, a green, a blue, and a red. First and the second modes are creating a 5/5 green elephant creature token, and the last one is double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. So getting out that 10 power and toughness there, and then doubling it up to 20 to try to swing in there. Unfortunately, they do not have trample to get over things, so you're going to have to try to find a way to get through it with that extra damage. But, you could very well just give them trample at some point. Songcrafter Mage, green, a blue, and a red. Very heavy in the Teamer themes here. For a 3/2 human bard with flash, when this ETBs, target instant or sorcery in your graveyard gains harmonize until end of turn. Its harmonize cost is equal to its mana cost. I think that we had this one before, but I can't quite tell there. But, you know, it's basically a Snapcaster Mage, except with harmonize, you can essentially make it a lot cheaper to do. And hey, some of the harmonized costs are generally a lot more than what the normal costs are. So, you know, not too bad on that one there. Oh, yeah, that is what we want there. It's not the super massive foil one, but I think that if I remember correctly, I think this is like a $90 or $100 card there. Starting off with first pack luck. Yeah, I'm glad that we got another box here. Good old Ugin again. 7 mana Planeswalker there. ETBs, exile up to 1 target, permanent with 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, you get to exile another permanent that's 1 or more colors. Gaining life, drawing cards, adding mana, searching for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, and then until the end of the turn, you can just cast them there. Starting off so strong there. This set is just so insane that it makes me want to buy another box, even though they're so expensive just because of the hits that we're getting. But it's also going to come to the point there where we're probably going to have most of the hits that we even want. And it's just, if we want to complete out the set, just buy the individual cards at that point there. So, you know, I'll probably, when the booster boxes, the play boosters are a little bit more accessible there for me, I'll probably be getting some of those too, just because, you know, they're gonna give those possibilities of all of these awesome cards there. So what a first pull there. Thornwood Falls, green and a blue, gain 1 life land. Unburied Earthcarver, 1 and a black, 2/2 human warrior, 2 mana, sack another creature, put a +1/+1 on it. Dispelling Exhale there. I think we had an alternate version of this maybe. But even if we didn't there, 1 in a blue, instant, as an additional cost to cast a spell, you may behold a dragon. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. If a dragon was beheld, counter that spell unless its controller pays 4 instead, which, you know, in standard, in limited there, they're not really going to be able to pay 4 for their big thing that's just got countered. So, yeah, in those, and it's just counter target spell there. So, you know, yeah, you know, like mental misstep and you know, things that are 1 cost are better there, but having something that's not too blue for it and it has an easy cost of making it you have to pay 4, yeah, it's good. Oh, here's the elephant guy there that kind of gave us a whole lot of luck when we got, I think, our first Ugin potentially. Fresh Start, 1 in a blue, enchantment aura with flash, enchanted creature gets -5/-0 and loses all abilities. Ooh, that's pretty nasty there for, you know, putting on like a commander or something, make them all lose their abilities. Stormbeacon Blade, 1 and a white, artifact enchantment with equipped creature gets +3/+0. When equipped creature attacks, you draw a card if you control 3 or more attacking creatures and equips 2. I mean, with how much myriad there's going on and, you know, mobilizing there, that's probably pretty easy, though, you know, 2 and then another 2. I'm not sure it's going to be fast enough there, but I could see in a limited environment that this being a real monster. Adamant Dragon, we had this one there before there, distributing 3 +1/+1s. Riling Dawnbreaker with his really terrible eyesight who needs glasses. And we're doubling up on them because, you know, you got to have 2 eyes for them to be able to see. And we're going to go into a swamp there, getting the dragon scooting across the frame there. Trying to think there, was it I think it might be the forest that we don't have of these ones here, and then it's the swamp that we don't have of these eye ones. And another siege here. We had this one there before, Frostcliff Siege there, though we had gotten the alternate art where it's on the map there, where does Jeskai and Teamer things. +1/+0, trample haste, or, you know, drawing a card when you deal combat damage. So getting the other artwork there is good there. Will of the Teamer. This is kind of like this cycle of their like Jessica's Will type of thing for all the tribes there. Yeah, if you control your commander, you get to do both. If not, you choose one. Create a token of target permanent, and then it's also a 4/4 with 4/4 dragon with flying there. I mean, or you draw cards equal to the greatest mana value among permanents you control. Now, unfortunately, these two don't technically synergize with one another because this permanent's mana value is 0, so you have to have something else out there as well. But potentially gaining a lot of card draw off of that there is not too shabby. I mean, but it is 6 mana, so it's a bit expensive. Sinkhole Surveyor there. We had this one there before as well. Cheap little guy. When it attacks, you lose a life and you endure this kind of like birdie version of Bitter Blossom. You know, we'll certainly take this alternate art of him since we didn't have that one in, previously. We're also going to have, the showcase version of Ureni, and not the one from the Commander deck. So this is a new one there for us. Ureni, and I think it's actually the first Spirit Dragon that we have from the set that, again, is not from the Commander decks. Ureni, the Song Unending. 5, a green, a blue, and a red. Very expensive for a 10/10, the legendary Spirit Dragon with flying, protection from white and from black, the 2 colors that it's not part of. When it ETBs, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers your opponents control, where X is the number of lands you control. So it feels very much like Dragon Lord Atarka in that sense there of this ability. It's just, it gets a little bit more of being a 10/10 instead of, I think it was like a 7/7. Both had flying, but this one also has protection from white and black, you know, big removal colors there. So I'm not sure how, actually I should just sleeve up this Ugin here while I've got the chance. I'm not too sure how impactful it's going to be in forms of play there, just because I think Atarka was decent, but it was only 2 colors instead of 3. So it might be fine, but I personally don't see it doing a whole lot there. And our last card is going to be Temur Battlecrier. Green, a blue, and a red for a 4/3 Orc Ranger with during your turn spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Now that is awesome because, you know, the whole Temur thing is we want to have 4 power. Temur Battlecrier itself already has 4, so it doesn't say other creatures you control. It just says for each. So in and of itself, it already provides a -1 to all spell types. Not just instants, not just sorceries, not just creatures, all spells that you have there. Every non-land that you have gets -1 when it's alone on the field, but it's Temur, so you're going to be putting a whole lot of big stuff out there, and it could get to the point there of, you know, if you've got enough stuff out, you could be having basically affinity levels of putting things out there of, oh, you know, like if you just have a bunch of colorless creatures out there like Eldrazi, you know, you have this in there, you put it out, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just going to play all these Eldrazi for free. No big deal. I could see this one going absolutely crazy in some formats there. So that's a good one there. And again, one we didn't have previously. So far, I mean, Ugin is definitely pulling the weight in those first 2 packs, but we're getting new stuff there, which is also important there. 1/1 birds. Kind of looks like an eagle, but maybe a different type than like a bald eagle from here in America. Feral Deathgorger there. Let's see here. Yep, we had this one there already, just at its alternate version. Unending Whisper, 1 blue to draw a card there, and you can harmonize there for, you know, drawing another one. You know, it's just a little cantrip to go through your deck a little bit. It's okay, not great. Underfoot Underdogs, I kind of like that name there. The Unders. Maybe this is where the goblins come from. Yep. 2 and a red for a 1/2 Goblin Warrior with, when it ETBs, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. 1 and tap, target creature you control with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. It's nifty. It's fine. It's not going to see a whole lot of play, but I don't know. I just like the name of it there. The Dragonstorm Globe, which we had there. Arcane Signet, just 1 extra mana, and you put +1/+1s on each dragon you control when they enter. Waste Speaker Bodyguards, 3 and a white, 3/4 Orc Monk with when this ETBs, return target non-land permanent card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand there. A little recursion in white, that's nice. And then Flurry, when you cast your second spell, tap a target creature and opponent controls. It's a little expensive for recursion of just mana value 2 or less, so if there's something that's really good that's 2 mana that you're playing in the deck that you really, really want back, you could put this as the top end to make sure you get it back, but I think it's a little bit too slow for standard there. You know, other things like limited, it's fine in that there. Recursion's good there. Reverberating summons, 1 and a red for an enchantment at the beginning of each combat. If you've cast 2 or more spells this turn, this enchantment becomes a 3/3 monk with haste in addition to its other types. And you can pay 1 and a green to discard your hand, sack this enchantment, and draw 2 cards. So if you don't have anything there, drawing 2 cards is kind of nifty. Knockout Maneuver, 2 and a green for a sorcery with put a +1/+1 counter on target creature control, then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent control, so not necessarily a fight there, so that's why it costs 1 extra there. It just deals damage, so it's fine. Sagu Wildling, you know, the cuter version that we have there. I dig that one there. There's that Feral Deathgorger, you know, same exact one there. We've gotten that art before. And we're going to be going in to get our Forest. I do remember that there. So maybe we did have all of the regular lands there. So we're just going to be looking then for that swamp then. Okay, new land here. Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. Land that taps for colorless, or it can tap from 1 mana of any color to be spent on a dragon or an omen spell. Okay, so, you know, I'll have to go back to see. I never got anything from Kaldheim there, so I'll have to see if those are technically omens as well. 4 and tap to sack this land, search your library for a dragon card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. I mean, you could pick an amazing dragon there that when you put it out, you win. So, you know, a tutor for a dragon, that's a little bit expensive there, but I mean, if you've got enough mana, it doesn't really matter. And we're getting one of the other commanders there from the commander sets there, Elsha Threefold Master. I'm not terribly impressed with her there. You know, 1/1 with trample and prowess, and when she deals combat damage, you get that many monks with prowess. It's fine. I'm not a super big fan of her, so I'm probably not going to build a deck with her. Oh, get another Teamer Battlecrier. We'll definitely take that. And we're also going to get Scavenger Regent, 3 and a black for a dragon, 4/4 with flying and ward, discard a card. Ooh, that ward is tough there, making them discard a card from their hand, especially if they don't have a whole lot there. They also have Exude Toxin, X and double black for each non-dragon creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. Yeah, that's a pretty good one there. You know, and it's because it's each non-dragon. Now, this might be a little bit better outside of standard in Commander, where there's probably not going to be quite as many dragons there. And, you know, you're probably not going to be finding as many dragon decks as you are in standard when dragons are a whole big thing. But I did learn something about these that I only realized after the recording stopped, and that's they are reversible with the cute little versions on them, just like the Secret Lair that had the Dragon Lords reversible. So you've got your little cute to brute on these ones as well. So, you know, you get to choose which artwork that you really want on them. And our final card is going to be a Voice of Victory, which I do know this one is decently expensive. Like, I think it was like a $10 card when I saw it last there. It might have gone down or up, I'm not sure, but I know that this was one that we didn't get that I was looking for there. It's 1 and a white for a 1/3 human bard with mobilize 2. So you get your 2 1/1 red warrior creature tokens when you attack, and your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. You know, getting a little bit of that, what's his name there? We got him in the Grand Abolisher. We got him, he was in that big score set for Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So, you know, making it so that your opponents can't do anything on your turn. I mean, well, they can use abilities, but they can't cast spells. You know, they can't. That means that they can't counter things. They can't do combat tricks. They can't save their creatures or whatnot there. I mean, it's only 2. it only costs 2 mana there. And even if you never attack with it there to get the extra to bodies out there, you know, just making sure that they can't do anything on your turn is pretty impactful there. So far, getting either big hits or getting cards that we don't have, which is fine by me, especially since we're getting multiple of those Teamer Battle Criers. I'm glad that we got a couple of those there, though I wish that we did get the original art version of it instead of 2 of the alternate arts, but I'm not going to complain that much about it. Dragonback Lancer there, 3 and a white for a 3/3 flying human soldier with mobilize 1. Updated art there for Evolving Wilds, definitely getting more of that Tarkir feel to it. Heritage Reclamation, 1 and a green. Instant, choose 1, destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard, draw a card. It's just an upgraded version there of a lot of those other ones that we've gotten. This is the original art of that Boulderborn dragon. Kind of looks a little bit menacing there. Overwhelming Surge, 2 and a red for an instant with choose 1 or both. It deals 3 damage to target creature or destroy target non-creature artifact. I mean, instead of putting it on, like, I mean, you've got Lightning Bolt, and then, I mean, what, you know, a Braid is 1 and a red to do one of, like, is just to do an or of those. So adding 1 extra mana to do both, yeah, I'll definitely take that value. Bone Cairn Butcher there. If I do remember correctly there, there was a Mardu card where this was the demon that they had originally in the artwork there. And they've just, you know, had a new demon come out there. So I guess maybe they've replaced all of the demons in the Rakshasa with these other kind of more, I can't remember what they're called there in Indian mythology there. It could be in that Eastern Asian as well, since this is Mongolian based there, but I'm not entirely sure. So it's Bone Cairn Butcher, 1, a red, a white, and a black for a 4/4 demon with mobilize 2 and attacking tokens you control of Death Touch. So they're probably going to get in a little bit more, and you have a few of these guys that have it there, and, you know, they're swinging in. People don't want to block and have their stuff die, so I don't see this as too bad of a card there. Oh, Skirmish Rhino getting a little bit of our Siege Rhino action back, though a little bit smaller there. Instead of a 4/5, it's a 3/4. It's a white, a black, and a green for a 3/4 Rhino with Trample, and then at ETBs, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life there. Good old classic Siege Rhino. I mean, it's got a little bit less power and toughness, which might make it a little bit easier to kill, so, you know, we'll see how this might go into standard there, with it being kind of a watered-down version of Siege Rhino. And we're having the Team and Dragonstorm. Unfortunately, like I said, my least favorite of the ones there. A little bit of Twin Maw Stormbrood there, gaining a little bit of life, dealing a little bit of damage there. And we're going to be getting that mountain there with the double-headed dragon. Double dragon. And our real first card there is going to be Tursa Light Shatter. I don't think we had this one last time either. Good. Get new cards. That's what we want. 2 and a red for a 3/3 legendary Orc Wizard with haste, and when it ETBs, discard up to 2 cards and then draw that many. When it attacks, if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, exile a card at random from your graveyard, and you may play that card this turn. Okay. I mean, if you don't have a whole lot of stuff in there, then, I mean, well, I guess it does say there you have to have 7 or more cards in it there, so make sure that you have enough stuff in there to be able to replay things, because it doesn't say that after you cast the spell, it goes into exile. So if you're able to play it there, it goes back into the graveyard for you. So, you know, it's okay. You know, it's a little bit of random recursion, which I could definitely see a deck, you know, put into a deck based off of that type of stuff there. And we're also going to get from our commander decks, the Rampart Architect there, creating walls with Defender, and then kind of the really more busted ability there of if a creature with Defender dies, you get to search for a basic land and put it on the battlefield there. You know, very good with the, Toughness Matters type of decks there. And we're also going to get another type of siege here, a Baron Step Siege. 2, a white, and a black for an enchantment with choose either Abzan or Mardu, with Abzan being at the beginning of your end step. Put a +1/+1 in each creature you control. And with Mardu, at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, each opponent sacks a creature of their choice. So both of them actually having some pretty good usage to them there, which I can see why this one might be a little bit more expensive than the other ones, because I mean, on your go wide Abzan boards, you're putting a +1/+1 on everything that you have. You know, you could be putting 3, 4, 5 or more extra power on the board at once there, but I think that the Mardu one is particularly crippling because of their whole mobilize thing. You attack, those things are going to die in the end. Your opponent has to sack a creature there, and if they don't have a go wide board, you know, they're going to end up sacrificing stuff that they need. I like that one there. We also have Avenger of the Fallen, 2 and a black for a 2/4 human warrior with Death Touch, and it has Mobilize X, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Now that is a nice Mobilize there. So you could potentially be swinging in with a whole lot of power there. Give this something like a First Strike there, so it doesn't really die if someone has to block into it there. And then, what is it there? And then you get the, what is it, the Rakshasa guy there that we had in, was it in this one here? Yeah, this, not Rakshasa, the Blood Baron Butcher there along with it there to create a whole bunch of them with Death Touch. Now, if you're able to get that off, like, that's a little bit terrifying. And we're going to have lastly, Tersa Light Shatter, again there, just her close-up version there with her alternate artwork gripping onto that lightning there to shower down on us. We'll definitely take that. I mean, it's the same card there, but it's more versions of it, which we don't really mind about that. So definitely having a lot less of the mythics than we did for the last one, though I don't think that we got the big hits until about halfway through, and then we got the hit later on after those ones. So we're going to get a Windspan Stride, 1 blue for an enchantment aura, enchant creature. It gets +1/+1 on flying, and you can pay 2 and a blue to return this aura to the hand, put it on something else that you might need for it. Aggressive Negotiations, 2 and a black for a sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it and exile it. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. You know, they're trying to do like the Thoughtseize, but, you know, on a common there, so this is not nearly as good as it there. It's 3 times the cost. I'd rather take the 2 damage to get rid of the non-land card there. Trade Route Envoy, 3 and a green for a 4/3 Dog Soldier with, when it ETBs, draw a card if you control a creature with a counter on it. If you don't, draw a card this way and put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And Meticulous Artisan, we had that one there. When it ETBs, you get a treasure. Fleeting Effigy, 1 red for a 2/2 elemental with haste. At the beginning of your end step, return this creature to its owner's hand. 2 and a red for this creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. This makes me think of the whole Ball Lightning type of deck there, where, you know, you put it down and then it has haste, but those ones you generally have trample on them there, and you just kind of get in for a lot of damage really quickly there. It comes back, so I mean, it protects itself a little bit, but I think playing it out each turn, like, only if you've got something that really cares about having creatures ETB, or, you could use this as a flurry enabler because it's only 1 red. You put it out there, and then you can play your second card to get the flurry there, and it always comes back if you don't attack with it there. So who knows, like, it could enable those type of things. Starry-Eyed Skyrider, 2 and a white for a 1/3 human scout with flying. When this creature attacks, another target creature you control gains flying until end of turn, and attacking tokens you control have flying. Okay, so dealing a lot more with giving your creature tokens some keyword there with all the other Mardu stuff. Mammoth Bellow, 2 green, a blue, and a red for a sorcery. create a 5/5 green elephant creature token, harmonize of a 5 green, blue, and red there. So essentially on the very next turn, you could cast this by tapping the 5/5 elephant there to get the second one. And it almost kind of seems like the first two modes of that saga that we had earlier there. Maybe it's fitting there. Good old Storm Shriek Feral like before. The Roiling Dragonstorm, one of the ones that I prefer there, of just being able to draw and discard, do a little bit of looting on it there. Ooh, and there we go, getting the swamp version of it there. Getting the little scar through the eye and just the absolute, like, death factor that you have of it. It looks like it would be the pupil of, like, I think it's from the Dungeons and Dragons there, the, like Ebon Death, Draco Lich, something like that there. But with that there, we now have the collection of them completed. And we're also going to get a Bloomvine Regent there with, I think that we had gotten this one before there. Maybe not. Nope, I don't think we did. 3 and 2 green for a 4/5 dragon with flying. When this creature or another dragon you control enters, you gain 3 life. And claim territory 2 and a green for a sorcery omen with search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards, reveal them. One goes onto the battlefield, the other goes into your hand. I mean, that it seems kind of decent there because you get up to this point of being able to play that sorcery and you get the 2 lands. So if you didn't have them all, you get to put them out there, and then the very next turn you get to put this dragon out there because it's the 5/3 and you get 2 lands. That's nice. Huh. Maybe it's only the alternate art versions of them that give you the cute version of them on there. But I mean, I don't necessarily see this doing anything in standard per se, but I mean, I could see this as being something that someone would run very heavily in a dragon-themed, or even just something that cares about getting a whole bunch of lands out there, some landfall deck, or something that wants tons of lands. I think it could be good in those. We're also going to get Iron Will Forger there with Lieutenant. And target non-legendary creature you control gets myriad until end of turn. Not too shabby. We're also going to get a Naga Fleshcrafter, 3 and a blue for a 0/0 snake shapeshifter with, you may have this enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, and it also has renew. So once it's in the graveyard, you can pay 2 and a blue to exile it from the graveyard to put a +1/+1 counter on target non-legendary creature you control, and each other creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn. Ooh, that could be kind of deadly there. I have some thoughts potentially for that one there. I mean, you could have your little white weenies in there, and then you make something that has some sort of attack trigger and whatnot there to, you know, pay the 3 to make a good board out of those there if you could. We're also going to get this Dalkovan encampment again there. You know, the lands will always take them there. I don't think that these are going to be anything super spectacular. We'll take them anyway. And we're also going to get Revival of the Ancestors, the Absent Saga of the 1 white, black, and green for create 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens. Second mode, on the next turn, you'll get to distribute 3 +1/+1s among 1, 2, or 3 creatures you control, and the last one, creatures you control gain trample and lifelink until end of turn there. Just trying to close the game out with that one there. Alrighty, going into pack number 6, so we'll be halfway through. Definitely not having quite the same luck that we had the last time there, but I am kind of going to be happy with the Ugin there. Going to have Scoured Barrens, white-black, gain 1 life land. Poised Practitioner, 2 and a white for a 2/3 human monk with Flurry. When you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 on this creature and then scry 1. You know, it stays around, that's fine. Sarkhan's Resolve, 1 and a blue for choose 1. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn, or destroy target creature with flying there. I think that this is now a modal spell of an upgrade of something like, I think it's usually like a 1 and a green for destroy target creature with flying, but now you have the choice of choosing to do giant growth instead. It's a little bit of a upgrade there. Wild Ride, 1 red for target creature, gets +3/+0 and gains haste until end of turn, and then you have a little bit of Harmonize there. Sultai Monument, 2 mana for an artifact with when it ETBs, you search for a swamp, forest, or island, reveal it, put it in your hand and shuffle, and then later on when you don't need this artifact anymore, you can pay 2, a black, a green, and a blue, to tap it and sack this artifact to create 2 black zombie druid creature tokens, only activated as a sorcery. A little bit of Static Snare, 4 and a white. For an enchantment with flash, this spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature. When this enchantment enters, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until this until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. I gotta say, I really like the foiling on this one here with just how the static kind of moves around on it there and just kind of gives almost like its own little unique foiling effect there. I like that one. Attuned Hunter, 2 and a green for a 3/3 human ranger with trample. When 1 or more cards leave your graveyard during your turn, put a +1/+1 on this creature. Not the most impactful one there. I'll probably pass on that. The alternate version there of the Encroaching Dragonstorm will certainly take that there to help out with the artwork. And we're going to get a Storm Shriek Feral, like we have before. And first card, and we're going to have a Plains there, just a regular old one. We're going to have the OG art of the Severance Priest. Okay, so we got 2 of these last time there, but we didn't get the regular artwork, so I'll definitely be taking that one. What was it there again? Yes, we take their best card from their hand, and then when Severance Priest leaves, they create an XX, where it's its mana cost, but then it doesn't have any abilities or anything. We're also going to get the Will of the Abzan, this time here, sacrificing a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls and loses 3 life. And you could do that to each opponent if you want, and you can return target cards from the graveyard to the battlefield there. I think that's a better version. I prefer that version as opposed to Will of the Teamer there, just because it's too cheaper. We're also going to get Thunder of Unity. Okay, I'm pretty sure we had this version. Not this version, but we had the other version in the other pack. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, and then whenever a creature ETBs, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Seems fine there. We're also going to get another Sidisi, Regent of the Mire. We've gotten a couple of those before. And our big one there, here we are with our alternate art for the Bloomvine Regent there that we had just gotten earlier. This one's a lot more beautiful there, given a lot of the pinks in it there, given a little peach colored with that pink and white there. And we're getting its little baby version, which is definitely adorable with the little butterflies going around it there. Yeah, that is definitely a cute little card. Okay, so halfway through, and unless we get another one of those super special guests there, I don't think we have any chance of reaching up those value unless we also get like an Ugin Dragonfire, not the Dragonfire, the Ghostfire versions. Zombie Druid, haven't gotten that token before, and a treasure. So we're going to get an Ice Ridge Serpent, 4 and a blue for a 3/3 Serpent with when this ETBs, return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Meh. Dragon's Prey, 2 and a black for an instant. The spell costs 2 more to cast if it targets a dragon, destroy target creature. It's more cost prohibitive. I'm going to pass on that. Narset's Rebuke, 4 and a red for an instant when it deals 5 damage to target creature, and then add blue, red, and white. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. And they've got a little bit of Sarkhan action there. Definitely a story spotlight moment. With a swift motion, Narset struck Sarkhan down. She would not let his fevered dreams of draconic dominance come to fruition, not after all she had done to free Tarkir. She has no idea what he did to be able to get the dragons back, though. Reigning Victor with its hybrid mana of 2 aura red and 2 aura white and 2 aura black for a 3/3 Orc Warrior with Mobilize 1. And when this ETB's target creature gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. I don't see any of these really seeing play. Venerated Storm Singer, 3 and a black for a 3/3 Orc Cleric with Mobilize 1, and when this creature or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This one I could see good with this Mobilize there, because it's also each opponent, so I could also see this being very good in a Myriad commander deck as well. Sandstep Citadel, new artwork for the Abzan land. Getting a little bit of Rune Scale, Storm Brood. We haven't gotten this regular version of the artwork yet there, so that'll be nice to get. Good old Boulderborn Dragon that we had gotten before, doubling up on it, just 1 foil, 1 non-foil. And we're gonna get our island for the eye there, so we've gotten 3 of those there. It'll be nice to get the fire one, because I know that the fire one is the most expensive of the ones, and Plains, I believe, is the least expensive. So Zombie Druid, what have you got for us? The regular version of Anafenza there. When a creature dies, Anafenza endures twice there. It's a fine card there. I think that the Kin Tree one, the spirit that they had in Dragons of Tarkir, I think is probably going to remain as the better version of her, though. We're also going to get Transcendent Dragon, which can counter a spell, and then you exile it from the owner's graveyard, and then you can play it without paying its mana cost there. I could see that being a decent card of commander there. We're also going to get Stadium Headliner, new card there, 1 red for a 1/1 Goblin Warrior with Mobilize 1, and you can pay 1 and a red to sack this creature. It deals damage equal to number of creatures you control to target creature there. It's fine. I mean, it's going to get rid of a creature there, but, you can't swing at face with it. You definitely want to do it after you've mobilized all of your stuff for the turn there. So it's a 1/1 for 1 there that can create more guys, so who knows? Maybe it could be good. Oh, doubling up on the Ugins here. Hey, I'll take every single artwork that I can of Ugin there. This is just adding to the value of the pack there. Yeah. Double Ugin there. I mean, yeah, if you want to give me more Ugins, I'm not going to complain about it there. Like this one right here, if this is another Ugin, nope. It's just a dinky little Glacier Wood Siege there. 1, a green and a blue. You get to choose Teamer or Sultai. If you choose Teamer, when you cast an instant or sorcery, target player mills 4 cards. Sultai, you may play land cards from your graveyard. It's meh, but Zombie Druid, you did good giving us another Ugin there. Every single Ugin is definitely one that I will take. Pretty sure it's probably going to be close that the 2 Ugins cover half of the cost of the whole box there. That's my guess. Stonemelt Stag, 3 and a blue for an 2/5 Elemental Elk with Vigilance. During your turn, this creature has base power and toughness 5/2. Bleh. This creature can't be blocked this turn for 7. Even more bleh. Bloodfell Caves, black and a red for 1, gain 1 life land. Coordinated Maneuver, 1 and a white. With an instant, choose 1. It deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature or planeswalker, or destroy target enchantment there. I mean, I see this as a good removal there for white there as well. Only 2 mana, and you get your choice of either destroying an enchantment or, a problematic creature. On a go-wide board, that's good. Einok Wayfarer, 1 and a green for a 1/1 Dog Scout with when this ETBs, mill 3 cards. You may put a land from among them into your hand. If you don't, put a +1/+1 on this. I mean, if you want cards in your graveyard, that's an easy way to get to it there. Ureni's Rebuff, 1 and a blue. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Harmonize there for 5 and a blue. I could see this being obviously you can use it on your opponent's stuff there if you find that that's necessary. I'd probably do this on my own stuff to just make more ETB triggers, because it's 2 and then probably 1 at that point there. Quarry Mountain Starwart, 1, a red and a white for a 3/3 human monk with whenever you cast your second spell each turn, this deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life there. That's a decent flurry there for commander, just dealing a little bit of extra damage whenever you do 2 spells. Refilling your hand, do an instance on your opponent's turn, could be fine. Marshal of the Lost, 2 a white and a black 3/3 Orc Warrior with whenever you attack, target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of attacking creatures. You know, just make one guy really big there. You got to do it when you declare your attackers, though. So opponent does know where it's going, though. But white and a black, you can probably put this in something with trample there, Mardu or Abzan. Durgar Island Dragon, meh. Breaching Dragonstorm. I don't think we've gotten this artwork there yet, but that is some gnarly artwork there. I really dig that art there. You know, it's almost like these like blood tentacles that are coming out to create the dragon there. That's nice. That's nice artwork. And, first we didn't have any swamp eyes. Now we got a foil one as well. Doubling up on it there. If we could get 2, you know, that'd be great. Get 2 foil eyes. We're also going to get that regular version of Glacierwood Siege that we had before. You know, just the regular version with them out on the battlefield there. And for our commander card, we're going to get, good one there to get. Afterlife from the Loam. 5 and 3 black for Delve. For each player, you choose 1 target creature in their graveyard. You put them onto the battlefield under your control and they're zombies. And with Delve, you're playing this for 3 mana. You get the 3 best things in one. Let's hear. Choose up to 1 target creature. For each player. No, it's also yourself there. 3 mana for 4 creatures. That is fantastic value there. I'm not surprised that card has good value to it because it's going to be used so much in Commander. This is a new one there. Herd Heirloom. 1 and a green for an artifact with tap to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana to only cast a creature spell. I mean, with Temur, that kind of makes sense. Tap it until end of turn. Target creature you control with power 4 or greater gains trample, and whenever this deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's some good variety there. If you need the mana, you can do the mana. If not, you're probably going to deal some damage and draw a card. Digging that one too. We're also going to get some Dragonback Assault there. I think we got this when we opened up the Commander decks. 3, a green, a blue, and a red for an enchantment with when this ETBs, it deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Just dealing a whole bunch of 3 to everybody. And then landfall, whenever a land you control enters, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. If they don't get rid of this there, you get those landfall triggers over and over and over again. You're making a whole mess of dragons. And for our final one, we're going to get the Naga Flesh Crafter again there. Bird Monk there. Okay, that's fine there. You know, we got some new stuff. That Herd Heirloom there. Actually, what am I doing? This is a mythic there. I need to put it in with my mythics. But yeah, this Herd Heirloom is a nifty one. I just want to make sure that I didn't accidentally put any of the other mythics in here by accident. Nope. But I do see that we are getting plenty of, like, not duplicates to the previous one there, but the same cards showing up in this box there. Because it's like we got 2 Ugins, we got 2 of these Naga Flesh Crafters, and there's a few of the other ones that we've gotten the same one of previously as well. Blossoming Sands, green-white, gain 1 lifeland. Stormflame Detainment, 2 and a white enchantment. When this ETBs, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. You know, it's just Oblivion Ring. Sultai Devotee. So this is the Sultai version of it, of the mana fixing. It just has Death Touch. Again, the Abzan one seems like it's the best one by far. Stormshriek Feral, other version of it there. Krumar Initiate, 1 on black for a 2/2 human cleric with X and black. Tap, pay X life. This creature endures X. So you can create a whole bunch of creatures if you really want to, very easily. That's interesting. I wonder if that could be used anywhere. Rainveil Rejuvenator, 3 and a green for an Elephant Druid. When this ETBs, you mill 3 cards and you add an amount of green equal to this creature's power. All right, so if you can soup them up there, you can put a bunch of +1/+1 counters on this guy, and you could be getting a lot of extra mana. Twin Maw Stormbrood, so this is what the guy normally looks like. It seems like still double trouble, double dragon it up. Purging Stormbrood. I'm not sure we've seen this one yet. 4 and a black for a 4/4 dragon with flying. Ward pay 2 life when this ETBs. Oh no, we have remove all counters from up to 1 target creature. Yeah. We have it. And maybe we just saw the other version of it because I don't recognize this art because this is some ghastly looking art and just looks terrifying. I ain't fighting that. Oh, and we're getting foil. I can't see anything. I need glasses, dragon. And we're getting a little bit of island, looking a little bit like Ugin there. Okay, so getting in a little bit of our regular rare there. We're going to have our 3rd Naga Fleshcrafter. I guess they really want me copying creatures there. I mean, it's like, really, that was the last card that we got there. At least it's the normal version, you know. I'm glad to get the regular artwork of it there. But we are looking for some heavy hitters here. Going to get Reunion of the House for our commander card there. 5 and 2 white. Return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I talked about, you know, any of those guys that whose power is equal to whatever its normal power is listed on there minus your life, and you can get a whole bunch of extra things in there. You know, that's one way to kind of cheat around it and get more stuff out of it. And our next one is going to be getting another Esh key there, another Teamer con there. We still don't have the Absent con, so that's kind of the one that we're going to be looking for there. A decent little creature. Big thing is that it does have the 4 power and toughness, which is going to be important for her there. And, ooh, getting a Storm Scale Scion. Now, we did have this artwork already, so I kind of wish that we had the other one there, but, you know, decent little card there. Being able to storm out and create multiple copies of itself there. Interesting little guy as well. I mean, last time we had a lot of non-dragons for our mythics, and now we're getting a whole bunch of dragons for mythics there. I guess that's the dichotomy of the set. And for our last one there, we're going to get kind of poopy little Windcrag Siege here that we had gotten before with the same sort of artwork as well. You know, getting the extra attack triggers there is fine, but, you know, we're looking for something new. We're looking for new artwork, new cards, or just cards that will give us value. That's not the one that we're going to necessarily be looking for. Every little bit helps, but it really knows what we're after. Okay, going up there with Nightblade Brigade, 2 and a black for a 1/3 Goblin Soldier with Death Touch and Mobilize 1. When it ETBs, Surveil 1. A little bit too expensive there. Here's our, I have really small eyes and I need glasses, just the regular version of him there. You can barely see his eyes on this one here as well. I'm not surprised. Focus the Mind. 4 and a blue. For an instant, the spell costs 2 less to cast if you've cast another spell this turn there. You know, helping out with that flurry. Draw 3 cards and discard a card. It's okay. It's nowhere near as good as other stuff we need. Seize Opportunity, 2 and a red for an instant. Choose 1, exile top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. Or up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+1 until end of turn. First option is better, but it might be a little bit too slow for us. Zergo's Vanguard there. Dog Soldier on top of an absolutely gigantic spider there. 2 and a red for a X3 Dog Soldier with Mobilize 1 with this creature's power is equal to the number of creatures you control. Okay, simple enough. Opulent Palace, we haven't gotten that one quite yet there, and it's the Sultai version of the land there with its new artwork. Definitely take that. Draconic Strike there, haven't gotten that one yet either. Hybrid mana of 2 or a green and 2 or a blue and 2 or a red for a sorcery with double the power and toughness of target creature you control until end of turn. Then it fights up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. It's fine. You can't use it as a combat trick there, so that's the only problem that I see with it. Keru Goldkeeper there. We had gotten this one there before. This is just the other artwork, so we'll definitely take that there. I really like this one there because it's the whole, you know, you get the treasures for making things come out of your graveyard. I like it. And then we're getting our foil version of our Runescale Stormbrood like we had that time there. And we're going to get our Double Dragon, Double Trouble mountain there. And, okay, I guess, like I said, we're getting a lot of doubles up of things because here's Ureni again, just in his other artwork. or her other artwork. I'm not too sure. Maybe they're an it. And I'm not too sure how impactful Ureni is going to be. So, you know, we'll just we'll take the alternate artwork there. That's for sure. You know, we'll take as many copies as we can get there. And our next one is going to be an Arbor Adherent from the Commander decks there, adding 1 mana of any color or adding X mana of one color where X is the greatest toughness. I think that this is a really awesome card there, especially because, I mean, you're probably going to be playing it in a deck to get stuff out easier to ramp into things. So getting that out quickly there and, you know, potentially getting, you know, like 4, 5, 6 mana off of it there and for just one tap is awesome. Oh, Dragonfire Blade, and we got this one there before, but this is the alternate artwork, the showcase frame. We'll definitely take this one here. You know, hexproof from monocolored, gets a little bit stronger there, costs less for each color that it's on it. You know, ideally you're putting this on a 3-colored thing there. If you really want to, you could put this onto your little, the mini Siege Rhino there, because it's only going to cost 1 to put on it, and it's got hexproof and the +2/+2 to make it a little bit bigger. We'll definitely take that. And we're also going to get Great Arishan City. Okay, so this is the Abzin version, just kind of the full art version, or alternate version of it. Enters tapped unless you control a forest or plains, and you can tap it to add black. And for 1 and a black, you can exile a creature card from your graveyard to create a 1/1 white spirit creature token. Yeah, nice little value for that last one there, just creating an extra body if you need to for essentially 3 mana because, you know, you have to tap this card in and of itself. But, okay. Last card of the pack there. Please be something good there. Since we've gotten our Ugins, we need a little bit of something extra. And... oh! Now, it's not the Dragon Scale version, but we will definitely take Scalding Tarn. Ah, my favorite color combination, and we get the land for it. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! And it's so beautiful, too. Just all of the reds in there of the trees. Oh, absolutely beautiful. Oh, that is gorgeous. Yeah, that is definitely getting sleeved up there. Okay, so that's definitely helping out there. I mean, it's not a well, bird monk there. I guess you're doing a little bit better this time around. Not quite as good as the dragon scaled one, but oh man, like I'll definitely take every Scalding Tarn I can get. And I don't know how often these special guests are supposed to come up because what is it there? The desert that got in the Thunder Junction was the first one that I got in a pretty long time, and from opening packs, and now suddenly it's like, oh, that one, then the Arid Mason, now Scalding Tarn. My goodness. Mardu Devotee, we didn't have this one yet there. For white, when it ETBs, you scry 2 and you can mana fix. For 1, I could see this being fine there. You know, you get to mana fix there, and it only costs 1 to get out, and you get the scry there. It's a 1/2. Yeah, this one is up there with the Absent one there. High Spire Bellringer there, 2 and a blue, 1/4 Jin Monk with flying. When the second spell you cast each turn costs 1 less to cast. Okay, make it a little bit easier then. You know, your first spell can be whatever. Your second spell is going to be 1 less. That's fine. Sagu Pummeler, 3 and a green for a 4/4 beast with reach. Renew 4 and a green to exile this from your graveyard. Put 2 +1/+1s on a reach counter on target creature. It's okay. Nothing fantastic. Reputable Merchant. Khajiit has wares for you, if you will. 2 or a white and 2 or a black and 2 or a green for a 2/2 human citizen with when this enters or dies, put a +1/+1 on target creature you control. None of these are really standing out to me at all. Corroding Dragonstorm. Okay, so this is the regular artwork for that Dragonstorm. We'll definitely take that one there. Definitely getting more of that Sultai vibe for it there, because I think that's that Opulent Palace from the new artwork. Getting a little Descendant of Storms, 1 white for a 2/1 human soldier with when this attacks, you may pay 1 white. If you do, it endures 1. It's fine. I mean, it's a mana sink if you really need something there for it. Dragon Sniper, a green for a 1/1 human archer with Vigilance, Reach, and Death Touch there. A lot of keywords on a 1/1 there. That's not too shabby. I'm not sure how... I mean, because it's got reach, it can reach the dragons just because it's a dragon sniper. I could see that it being a defensive card to help you stay back there. We're getting a little bit of Saga Wildling Cutie Pie there. Yeah, nothing on the back of that one there. Ooh, doubling up, and we get the foil version of it there. Nice, nice. And we're getting our Forest one. But for our first card, we're going to get, the regular version of Eshki Dragonclaw. Again, you know, doubling up on a whole lot of the cards in this pack there. That's pretty interesting, but, you know, getting the other artworks is perfectly fine there for me. I'll definitely take it. From there, we're going to get our Thundermane Dragon, decent card there, letting you look at the top card of your library, and you can cast creature spells with 4 power or greater from among them there, and they gain haste. Decent card, decent card. We're also going to get Sage of the Skies, new card. 2 and a white for a 2/3 human monk with, when you cast a spell, if you've cast another spell this turn, copy the spell, flying and lifelink. Okay, so as the second spell for this turn, you can create 2 of them there. Okay, you know, get a little extra copy for him. That's fine. And we're also going to get, another Scavenger Regent. Again, doubling up on the stuff that we have. So, like I said, cute to brute there, guy. I definitely think that this one could be impactful with the ward being a little bit... It's not back-breaking, but you definitely don't want to do it there, and then being able to get rid of a whole lot of non-dragons with it there, I think could be good. And our last one is going to be Siege that we don't have, I think, there. Black and a green, very cheap for this one here, for an enchantment with choose Sultai or Abzan. Sultai, whenever a counter is put on a creature you control, you draw a card. This triggers only once a turn there, so potentially drawing a card just every single turn. An Abzan, whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter a target attacking creature. It gains menace until end of turn. Not too shabby, but, you know, definitely we're hoping for something better. So hopefully we're going to get a little bit of last pack luck there, because, I mean, we've gotten 3 pretty good cards there, though I have doubts that it's going to be nearly as good as the other ones, though. Though this Ugin, I'm pretty sure, is a pretty decent card, and we got 2 Ugins, but this is nowhere near as good if it had been the scaled version of it. Watcher of the Wayside there. It has a very interesting pattern there, because it looks very Avacyn-like. I mean, you can see it there. It has that same feel for it. So, I don't know why it'd be like that. I wonder if this is a reference to something, because it looks like it in its flavor text. Watcher of the Wayside, 3 mana for a 3/2 golem with, when this ETBs, target player mills 2 cards and you gain 2 life. Against Dragonlords, Khans, and Ugin himself, the golem survived. Original purposes forgotten, and awaits orders that will never come from a world that has moved on without it. So it definitely looks like it came through either an Omen Gate or through the Phyrexian invasion. I'm not sure. I'd have to look through and try to find out where it comes from there. But they definitely don't have this sort of technology with Innistrad there, so I wonder what the symbol would really be for, because the only other thing I could think of is if it was like Nicol Bolas themed, but that headpiece it's not right for Nicol Bolas. Agent of Codis, 1 and a blue for a 2/1 human rogue with renew, 3 and a blue to exile from the graveyard to put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Meh. Adorned Crocodile, 4 and a black for a 5/3 Crocodile. When this dies, create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token with renew, 1 black to exile this from your graveyard to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature there. This is something that I could see, like, get it milled into your graveyard, discard it when you don't need it there, and it's only 1 black, and then you get all of the, when something leaves your not battlefield, when it leaves your graveyard there. It makes it really easy to do that. Shock Brigade, 1 and a red for a Goblin Soldier with 1/3 with Menace and Mobilize 1. Very simple there. From Militia to Zergo, all Mardu Khans started right here at the front lines. Another Alesha reference there for my friend. Oh, getting Frontier Bivouac there, the Teamer updated artwork there. So I think that we might have all of the updated artworks now. That's nice. Teaming Dragonstorm, getting that artwork there. We hadn't gotten that one before, but again, still thinking that it's probably the worst of them there. Effortless Master, 2 blue and a red for a 4/3 Orc Monk with Vigilance and Menace, and this creature ETBs with 2 +1/+1 counters on it if you've cast 2 or more spells this turn there. Might be a little difficult with it being 4 mana, so meh. Breaching Dragonstorm with that awesome art. This one isn't foil, but it's still amazing there. Justine Jones, you did an amazing job on this. I'm very impressed. And we're going to get our Karakik Guardian again there. Little Palladian Moors guy. And we're 1 island short, so maybe this will be... Nope, it's just going to be a swamp there. So nothing going to be showing up there for islands, so we're short 1 of those there. We definitely don't have nearly as many mythics as we did originally, because, I mean, we only have 1 of these, though. I mean, because even the Ureni from this is, like, really expensive there as well. We're going to get Winter Night Stories. We had gotten this one there, I think, in the last one, in a couple of ways. 2 and a blue for sorcery, draw 3 cards, discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature card, and Harmonize there. I think it'll be fine in order to draw a whole bunch of extra cards there. Maybe a little bit too slow for standard, though. And we're also going to get Floral Evoker, so no Ureni for us, no bonus value with that. 2 and a green for a 2/3 Snake Druid with Landfall. When a land you control enters, you put a +1/+1 on this, and for green, you can discard a creature card to return a land from your graveyard to the battlefield tap to make this guy a little bit bigger there. It's fine. You know, the big thing about it is that it makes a land leave your graveyard there, so, you know, it triggers all of those effects. And we're also going to get Revival of the Ancestors, doubling up on our stuff there. Spirits, +1/+1s, and then give things Trample and Lifelink there to hopefully break through any siege, if you will, there. Very intentional me saying that. Come on, copy. Maybe this is why our last pack has a copy there as the token. Maybe that's to tell us there that, you know, we were going to get multiples of so much stuff. Inevitable Defeat. Okay, we didn't get that one there yet. 1 a green. Wow. 1 a red, a white, and a black for an instant with it can't be countered. And exile target non-land permanent. Its controller loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. You know, it's a little bit of expensive targeted removal, but it exiles anything that's non-land there. So, you know, you can hit the enchantments, you can hit the artifacts, you can hit the planeswalker there. Nothing about the cost there. And they also lose 3, you gain 3. Kind of has a little bit of a Siege Rhino effect there with, instead of having a body for it there, you're just, you know, getting rid of 1 thing there. Who knows? Maybe it could show up and do stuff. Okay, last card of the set. Avenger of the Fallen. Doubling up on this one again. You know, get the Death Touch. Big mobilize cost there. Copy and Monk. And, I mean, I've got to just see this here. Because we had so many things that doubled up on it there. Things that I know. There's that. Naga Flesh. Get that. I'm pretty sure. Don't think Inoffensive. We did get that. Yeah. Yep. there is, I mean, there's all of those ones there, plus the dupes on Ugin, the dupes on Ureni as well. There was just a whole lot of stuff that duplicated up in these, so I'm a bit surprised there for it. And yeah, there was another Glacier Wood Siege somewhere. No? Double up on Frostcliff then? Did we get all of this? Did we get pretty much all of the sieges there? Glacier, Windcrag, Hallmark. Okay, we just literally got all of the sieges there, I guess. Wow. But yeah, we definitely doubled up on a whole lot of stuff. I think it's pretty obvious that we're nowhere near the value of the first box, though we did get some pretty awesome stuff. I wonder what I mean by that there. So yeah, I know that's where pretty much all of the value of this box is coming from. And I mean, I might be just breaking even with the value of the box there, but I'm pretty happy with the stuff that we got there. So yeah, this was another great box. Thanks for joining me in for a little bit of Dragonstorm with kind of just how nice that this is really kind of getting people back into kind of traditional Magic there, and being able to overlook some of the other stuff that they have to be able to enjoy a franchise and a game that they really like. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, wonderful evening, good night, anything of that there. You know, just hopefully you got good luck on your side going forward. And, you know, please take care of yourself. And I hope that you'll join me back for another opening there, or another one of these diary entries. I'll look forward to seeing you again. Take care.